Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever the case may be. For all of you listening out there across the crazy planet Earth, welcome to Vestiges After Dark. And I am your host, Bishop Brian Willett, coming to you live from the deep woods of Western Georgia on this October 14th, 2025. Well, get ready to learn a little bit about yourself, because tonight we explore the realm of astrology with our returning guest, Aurorah Yarberry. She is prepared to actually read your charts. We'll give instructions as to how that can be done during this episode without giving away too much personal information. Don't worry about that. But it's going to be, I think, an exciting adventure to learn what the cosmos has to say about you. That's tonight on Vestiges After Dark. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new Vestiges After Dark. Once again, I am your host, Bishop Brian Willett, here with my co-host, Jamie Wolf.
Hey, everybody.
I want to thank everyone for being with us tonight. I hope you enjoy tonight's show. I think it's going to be a great experience to learn more about this very misunderstood, I would call, metaphysical science of astrology. It's ancient and it is useful. And it's definitely not the horoscope that you see in your newspaper. I mean, not that anyone has newspapers anymore.
The daily horoscope.
The daily horoscope, yeah. But it's not like that. Far more sophisticated, and tonight we're going to get into all of that. And if you're interested in getting your chart read by Aurorah tonight, that's going to come up here in hours 2 and 3, you can go ahead and email Brandon. I'm going to put that on the screen right now for you. Go ahead and email Brandon your chart information, what he needs in order to be able to send this on to our guest tonight so that she can read your chart is basically your first name, your birth date, the time of birth, as accurate as you can get it, and the city and state and country, whatever the circumstances might be, where you were born. Send those 3 pieces of information to the email on screen, brandon.milan.vestiges@gmail.com, and he will get it over to our guest tonight. And, depending upon how many come in, you might get picked. Hopefully everyone will have a chance to get some information, but you can also call into the show. But I would actually encourage you to call into the show if you're going to get read, and then Brandon can, help Aurorah find which chart belongs to you based upon the email. But this is so that you don't have to give personal information over the air and tell people your birth date and all that information. You might not want to do that. Some of you might not want to do that.
I would suggest you do not do that.
It's probably not a good idea. So here's your chance to do it privately, off the air, but still be read on the air, okay? So Aurorah will have what she needs, but nobody else needs to know it, okay? So I'll leave that up there so that you guys can go ahead and start sending your charts to Brandon now, all right? Make sure you put your first name in there so that when you call in, or if you're in the chat or whatever, however you wish to communicate with our guest tonight, he'll be able to find your chart and help Aurorah find it so that we can see what she sees about, what the cosmos has to say about you. That's coming up on hours 2 and 3. You can always ask questions just related to astrology as well. It doesn't have to be all chart reading, but tonight was set up to be about reading the the natal charts of whoever might be interested. Okay. I also want to give a big shout out and thanks to our moderators who keep you safe, and for all of our benefactors, who are most of which members of this church, that make shows like this possible. It's extremely important that if you find this show to be useful to you, if you feel that it is something that has value, intrinsic value, to support it. Because I can tell you right now, the algorithms like that YouTube deploys, Facebook, everywhere we stream, all right? We stream on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. I can tell you those algorithms are actually hiding this show. They're going out of their way to not promote the show. And so we're not getting the exposure, anywhere near the exposure that we should be getting, because of the kind of content that we supply. First of all, we break paradigms here. In fact, people are always questioning how me, a Catholic bishop, can have, a show on topics like tarot cards and astrology and a number of other metaphysical things. It really confuses people. And the fact of the matter is they just don't understand how this church operates, which is to push forward into its philosophical explorations without fear. And to understand is really what it's all about. And see, this is the problem with the world today, is the fact that you think that this is an issue. This is why you have problems with politics. This is why you have problems with how governments are run, because you think that people have to fall into a box, and if they don't meet all of the criteria for fitting into that box, then you don't know what to do with them. Well, I've never been one for boxes, and I am far too expansive for you to fit into any one box out there. I refuse to be put into a box. It will not happen. You try to do that, I'll go out of my way to make sure that you realize that you can't do that. But that doesn't help algorithms, okay? So we're never going to get the exposure that will lead to the kinds of sponsorship that would help this show to reach more people. It's not about growth in the sense of, I want to have the greatest and best #1 podcast on the air. I realize that will never happen with the topics that we cover here. However, I would like to see more people who can benefit from a show like this one to find it. And they're not going to with the way that social media works today. So that means that the bulk of the burden of this show has to be on those of you who have found it and do like it and want to support it. So there is a little QR code there in the corner of the screen that everyone ignores every show. I don't think anyone's ever used it. Maybe once. And that's a very quick and easy way to donate directly to the church that pays for this show, that does not have any commercials, by the way. I don't even monetize on YouTube. I don't want to monetize any YouTube. That's part of the reason why our algorithm sucks, I think, is because, YouTube realized, we're not going to make any money off of that. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't help. But you guys can help by liking, sharing, and interacting. These things do help the algorithm, but more of you have to do it in order for that to work. And certainly the show like this needs financial support as well. So I know our moderators out there will put also the donation link. If you're having trouble with the QR code for some reason, our moderators will put the donation link in the page. But all you have to do to donate to the church is go to esotericcatholic.org. Very simple. esotericcatholic.org or nicoland.org. It takes you to the same place, and click the donation now button on the side column. All right. That's the safest way to do it. Puts you right through. What the church really needs is monthly support, a monthly pledge. One-time donations are great and all, but I can't make a budget on a one-time donation. What I can do is I can make a budget when I know that I have a projected amount every month coming in to keep this show going. And this is, believe it or not, one of the services of this church. And you might say, well, why do you have a show like this? What does this have to do with ministry? It has everything to do with ministry, because the primary mission of this church is, believe it or not exorcisms. All right. That's just something that happened and got big because people are fascinated by it. The #1 mission of this church is teaching. It always was its first mission statement. And one of the ways in which we learn about ourselves is through philosophy. but not by proceeding with fear or being worried about the topics and, whether or not these things are safe to study. It's proceeding with the confidence in one's faith to be able to study anything and realize that it's just knowledge. And knowledge is power, and power gives you the means to understand. And once you understand, then you can comprehend. And then once you comprehend, you realize that you don't really have anything to fight about anymore. You really don't. Because when you can understand another person's point of view, even if you don't personally agree with it for your own life, life's a lot better that way. Life's a lot better that way. Now, the politicians don't want you to do that. Social media doesn't want you to do that. That's why this show's so marginalized, because they don't want this out. But the whole point of this show is to teach you what religion really is. It's not about control. It's about freedom. All right. That's what Christ really represents. That's what salvation is. You think salvation is going to heaven. That's the least of it. That's the least of it. The point of salvation is to experience true freedom. And not just freedom, but responsible freedom. The ability to have freedom responsibly. That's something that we've never understood. Oh, Americans are always talking freedom, freedom, freedom. Yeah, and what do they do with it? They irresponsibly piss it away, and they irresponsibly abuse it. That's not what freedom was for. Freedom is to protect the integrity of one's way of life, not to compromise it for the benefit of one group over another. That's what ends up happening. Religion does that too. That's why religion gets a bad rap. That's why people say, oh, religion's about control. Yeah, people have used it for control, but true religion, what religion really is the complete opposite of that. And so this ministry is here to help people to understand that. And this show is the entry point to that realization. We need your support, those of you who find it, to get out there and get it out there. So you guys go out there and promote it, since the algorithm won't, right? Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, but tell other people about it. Tell anyone you know that you think might enjoy it. I've noticed our numbers in India are going through the roof. We're getting over 100 downloads a day per episode, which is really fantastic. It's great that India finds value here. I wish America did, but we got a few in Great Britain.
Welcome to our Indian friends.
I know. Yes, I mean it's great. So get the word out. That's what I'm trying to say, and support it. Support the church. Give a pledge, a monthly pledge. It helps. Believe it or not. Don't think that your pledge is too small for it to matter. Okay, I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna take this email down for the time being, so people can see the chat, because we're getting ready now to start this show. So joining us from Australia, we have Father Chris with us. How you doing tonight, Father?
Hello.
I'm doing well, thanks. I was just winding people up in the group chat because Brandon put out that you need to send, your place of birth, state, city, state. And I said, or country.
Country,
yeah. The country, yep.
Could have country.
There are countries outside the USA, so I just thought
province. It could be a province too. It helps with
province.
Yeah, yep. It helps with I believe Aurorah uses software, particularly on a show. You got to do it quickly, so the calculations could be pretty involved if she's doing it by hand. But most of the software, is going to ask for that basic data. So make sure that you give all of it, because that's going to help to get the most accurate response, And the big issue is really going to be the time. A lot of people don't know their time of birth, so try to get that out there too. But thank you, Father, for that.
Yeah, especially when I think I was 43 when this topic came up. So I asked my mother what time I was born, and it was 43 years ago. So, but she did remember, actually. So I was quite impressed with her with that. I was the third. Normally, by the time you have your third child, you're like, oh, I don't know, it was sometime in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm good. I'm just kind of reflecting on what you were saying earlier about people wanting to put people in boxes. There's actually quite a good example of this recently, and this time it's Christians trying to put people in boxes. So, your president said on the plane, oh well, why do you want to do the peace deal? He said, oh well, I want to get into heaven. I think it's probably too hard for me. Probably not going to happen.
I saw that.
I would like to get to right. And so instantly, you
might be the smartest thing he's ever said.
It's a very Christian thing to say, actually.
What he said was like exactly how Christians always envisaged our relationship with heaven until Calvinism and all the other nonsense. But instant cue, all of the Calvinists saying, "Oh, he doesn't know of his certain hope." I'm like, no, actually, you are. But again, so what he said was probably the most. I mean, apart from it being, I think, authentic Christian soteriology of never ever presuming that your place in heaven, and we are supposed to be the tax collector. Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner, not the Pharisee. Oh, I'm so grateful that I'm not like this horrible publican. So, it's interesting how Christians can be amongst the worst of wanting to box people in. It's like. It's probably the wisest thing he's ever said.
It probably is. I saw, ironically, because Trump loves him, but I saw this thread online about Charlie Kirk, and people are asking, did Charlie Kirk go to heaven? Like anyone could possibly answer that, but one of the responses in there was the complete opposite of what Trump said, is that if you don't know. If you're not absolutely certain that you're going to heaven, then you need to go and really rethink your relationship to Jesus. There's something wrong with it.
But not for the reason you think.
Yeah, for the reason you think, right.
Lord have mercy.
So it's like, that's the problem, is that the churches are teaching people that being secure in your relationship to Christ means that you've got a get out of jail free card, a surefire ticket into heaven. No questions asked. It's guaranteed.
And that's what it's really about.
Yeah.
I mean, because the sorts of churches where, I've been kind of, I came to faith through a Baptist church when I was 17, but then, my ministry has been in the very, high Catholic end of the church. And every time there's been, especially when I was an Anglican, there was this tendency from, sorry to pick on baby boomers, but there's this tendency from boomers to say, oh, perhaps you should do more of this. And by more of this, they mean more of the sort of church expressions that come out with stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Because what they, and I understand it. I mean, it's a short, sharp message. Okay. And it's a simple, I would say it's a simplistic message. It's also in error as a result. But you can see what the temptation, because if you give somebody, oh look, just say these. It's actually a form of magic. Say these magic words, and now you're all righteous again. And actually, especially for people who've been in terrible situations, sin, and all, which we all have from time to time. It's understandable why that's appealing, and why you get this sort of big growth, this big influx of people responding to a simple message that offers them hope. Okay. But here's the problem. They don't stay there because that simple message gets unraveled, because life is not simple, and our freedom and the freedom of others constantly screw it up. And so we always say, they've got these very big front doors, these sorts of churches, but they've also got very big back doors.
It's true.
And so they kind of flow in and they flow out.
And even bigger closets with lots of skeletons in them.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the only hope is that they find their way to something a bit more, I don't want to say sophisticated, because I don't mean it in a
yeah, I know what you mean.
In a sort of, you know what I mean? A wiser, more integrated sort of revelation of Christ's church. Now, we would say, and the Catholic Church is obviously the most ancient and therefore best version of that. But it is, for people who are, if their faith is the size of the mustard seed, and they're really wounded and all the rest of it, I can see how those sorts of messages appeal to them. But I would say that actually the truth is even more beautiful and more accepting, and will last you not only a lifetime but into all eternity, because it doesn't have this sort of simplistic vision of saying, say Jesus is Lord and then everything's wonderful. We say, no, say Jesus is Lord, be baptized, and come to confession, and I'll see you in confession next week, and I'll see you in confession next week, and I'll see you in confession next week, all the way as you try and get better and better and more aligned to the image of Jesus Christ. That's the true message of the church. And when you fail, you don't get kicked out the back door.
Well said. Well said. Joining us from Tennessee, we have Brandon Milam. How are you, Brandon?
I'm good. Actually, Father Chris, what you said reminded me a little bit of one of the stories in the webinar where you were talking, Bishop, about the Bodhisattva vow, where the monk asks all these questions. So what if after every person gets into nirvana, every blade of grass, what happens then? And he's told, then your work can begin.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what that reminded me of.
The three immeasurable eons. See, Buddhism has a really unique way of putting things into perspective. And it actually has a really firm grasp of the concept of eternity. It really does, far better than I think the West does. It really understands eternity in a very complex way, but in a way that's so complete that it actually makes it more comprehensible than sort of just like writing it off to mystery. But anyway, I know that you've got some questions tonight, so let's get into questions from the ether and see where that takes us.
All right, so I did go easy on y'all this week, so get prepared.
Okay.
First question. In one of the later parts of the magic unit, you had discussed how you're successful at exorcism ministry by lowering your vibration level to be closer to the entity in question, and then raise your vibration, or something around those lines. Could you explain that a bit more?
Yeah, so this is a metaphysical question, and one of the ways in which I think one could see where I use my understanding of metaphysics in my ministerial work. In other words, I don't just resort to one worldview in order to do my work well. I of course, take what the church gives us, the tools of the church, and that's paramount. But I also use my understanding of metaphysics to kind of fill in the gaps, because believe it or not everything one sees in exorcism ministry or spiritual problem resolution ministry, deliverance ministry, whatever you want to call it, whatever name you give to it, not everything everyone will see in this work, if you work at it long enough, is going to fit into the box of the Roman Catholic Church.
In fact, a lot of it doesn't.
In fact, most of it doesn't, I think, most of it
That's been my experience with you guys the last 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, I mean, you would be, you're a great example of that. I think I'm going to put you over here a little bit more so that you're more on screen. There you go. But yeah, I think a lot of people don't really understand that. So one of the things that I, do when I am working a case, particularly if it's a difficult case or if, information is hard to come by, and it's not something that I would teach people or suggest anyone does. It's just something that comes very natural to me because of my background and the fact that I didn't always spend all my time as a bishop. I used to do other things and study other things, and metaphysics was a paramount part of paramount importance in my life. And it taught me some great things that I took with me into my Christian life. And I didn't just abandon those things because, I didn't see Christianity as replacing them. I saw them as enhancing what I already knew. And so I answered this by simply saying that vibration, everything in the cosmos is basically vibration and geometry. That's it. Now we use our brain, our mind, or as the ancients would have called it, the psyche, or what translates as soul. We use that to filter all that information, all that energy and vibration, and make some kind of image with it. So that way, when I look at a table or a computer mouse or a cell phone or, a neon sign, we can all look at that and agree that that's what those things are. it's just energy and vibration that makes it exist, but our brain distills it into something comprehensible. Our psyche distills it into something comprehensible. And so vibration is like a radio, okay? It's like tuning a radio. I mean, we don't really use radios that much anymore, but I think it's still, most cars still have them.
Yeah.
And you can, go through the different channels, right? And as if you're using like an old radio where you have to like literally turn the dial, you can find where the signal comes in strong, and you can actually kind of fine tune it. And if you go too far in one direction, it starts to get staticky to the point that you then won't hear the signal anymore. You're no longer in frequency. So sometimes what one needs to do this work effectively, because you're dealing with a lot of things, what we call paranormal disturbances or spirits or, ghosts or whatever they might be, are the reason that we don't readily see them as tangible realities, why people so intangible are they that some people don't even believe in them. And the reason for this is because they are operating at a vibration that is so different from the one that we vibrate at, our frequency, then that we can't. It's trying to listen to a channel that you're not tuned to. So for me, I find it easier to change my frequency just enough to be able to pick up on the energy that's there by either lowering it or raising it, depending upon what needs to happen. Usually it's having to lower it, because most of these things that are disturbing people are operating at lower frequencies. And as I do this, I get a clearer picture as to what is there, and gives me better insight. And then I can use that information to draft a solution that is effective. Now, the reason I wouldn't teach this methodology to people is because if you really don't know what you're doing, and it's very easy to make a mistake, even for someone that has been doing this as long as I have, you can easily obtain your own attachment this way. Because that's essentially how attachments happen, is that through neglect, apathy, sinful life, whatever, you lower your vibration to a point that you can't raise it back. And now you start to vibrate with these lesser things that we would associate with the demonic realm. And that's how you end up getting an attachment. I'm not saying only sin is the only way to get an attachment. Sometimes it's just having low frequency vibration. Depression can cause it. Trauma causes it all the time. These are all low frequency vibration responses. It brings you down. All right. And that's why church is so important, because church raises vibration, brings you up to more of like a celestial, angelic kind of frequency, which is so far removed, like even further removed than we are from this demonic realm, that it kind of makes you impervious to those things if you do it enough. That's why prayer is important. That's why Mass and the sacraments, all these things, what we call grace, is really vibration rising.
Well, you got the singing, you've got the incense with the bells.
Yeah.
All that's higher vibration.
It is. So that's what it is. So by lowering the vibration, we can get a better picture as to what we're dealing with, and it is an absolutely horrifying experience. Another reason not to do it, because when you start to see reality that way, it changes you. It changes you in ways that there's no coming back from.
And that's why, especially you being the facilitator, that's why we're so tired after an investigation.
Yeah.
Especially him. You need several days of recovery. Even it may look simple on, like, say, on TV, what we do, but the reality of it is it knocks you down, because you're messing with your vibrational rate. It
absolutely does. And even expending that energy weakens your vibration. It's almost like you're straining it to a point that it starts to degrade the more you do it.
Thank God for 2 a.m. tacos.
I'm telling you, the grease brings it back up.
True story. Hotel lobby at 2 a.m. in Vegas.
It is what it is.
I'm always exhausted after Mass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong on that. There is an energy
it's kind
expansion.
of a nice exhaustion.
It is.
It's kind of a nice exhaustion after. Well, as long as you haven't got, a queue of parishioners saying, "Oh, let's talk about the broken urn." Like,
True story.
Today's not the day.
The broken urn. Leanne, you'll have to explain that one more later.
I'm sorry. I mean, sorry. We say boiler in England. Like the tea urn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you now. I thought you were talking about.
You say earned us. We have a whole
I'm just
other
thinking about
understanding.
ashes. But no,
it was the same. It's the same for me. I've just been enculturated into Australia.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah.
But no, the reason that is, though, Father, is that even when you raise your vibration, it's exhausting to you because we operate at a lower vibration than the celestial. So prayer, sacraments, even doing too much church, right, can actually become a source of fatigue until one's vibration can be raised enough to where that becomes baseline. And I'll be honest,
i.e. a Holy Week.
Holy Week's a great example of how draining it can get. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. It really is.
Holy Week is people have no idea what it's like.
No.
No clue.
Because I'm telling you, I love all of the services of Holy Week. It's not like I hate Holy Week.
Yeah.
I love it. I adore it.
Oh, I love it too.
It is exhausting.
It is.
It's just.
It is because you just don't. Your vibration's just not naturally that high.
Yeah, and people will say, "Oh, clergy is because you only work one day a week, and that you got to work every day." It's like, I was a cop for 10 years, and I worked physically a lot harder. Yeah. Holy Week is a lot more tiring.
Yeah. It is. It really is. And I don't think people get that. But
different kind of stress.
If you can, this is why monasteries exist and why monks go off to abandon everything to be in the monastery, because the first few years is hard. But once you get past that, your vibration starts to go to such a degree that then eventually become incompatible with the world entirely. And there's really no true coming back down from that. It's really painful if you try. Not that it doesn't happen.
It's ironic, isn't it? Because they tend to be very still and quiet places.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, but the vibration's so high.
It's kind of a reversal. Yeah.
It really is the reversal of that. But it's fatiguing. Either way, it's exhausting. So there's your answer.
All right, so the next question is from April. How do you identify if there's an object that has been cursed? Then what of individuals who take the cursed object with them and store it? Does the object then start causing them problems?
Well, the answer is in the question. The way we identify a cursed object is if there is something that is identifiable that's causing the family problems. And curse doesn't necessarily mean somebody took something and literally put a curse on it using witchcraft or something. It can just mean that something has developed a negative attachment that is making a person or everyone in the house sick. And so if we can identify that the attachment is to an inanimate object, which in many cases it is, usually weaker attachments tend to go towards inanimate objects, and we can identify what the object this is, then we can take care of it. And if it's something that is not terribly important, like a mirror or a piece of jewelry or something, then we can destroy it. If it happens to be something that can't be easily gotten rid of, like a house, well, then that's when it comes down to we can try our best to exorcise it. Sometimes it's just better to move. It really depends on the circumstances, but the way we identify it is by going through the case history and trying to find the source of the problem. When did the problems begin? Did they buy something new? Did they go to an estate sale? Did they find something at an auction that is
thrift markets?
Yeah. Anything like that. Well, these are questions we ask. And a lot of times we'll be like, actually, I went and I got this thing, and that's really around the time it started happening.
Start the first question with, are there any ashes in the house?
That's always the first question. Yeah, because
that'll be 70% of your cases.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. In many cases it is. And I mean, I wouldn't call that a cursed object per se, but you handle it very much the same way. I mean, you don't destroy ashes, you bury them, but
my one of my daughters, she's in an apartment with a friend of hers. They share an apartment, and this friend brought a rug. It's polished concrete surface. They didn't like it, so I've got this rug, And of course, my daughter assumed that she got it from a secondhand store or something like that. Turned out she got it from the side of the road. And so now she's covered in bites because it's probably full of bed bugs or fleas or something.
Oh my God!
Well,
that's probably why it was on the road.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So, but what you described, similar things can happen if you go. You can find a bargain in a secondhand shop, an antique shop, all the rest of it, but you don't know its history. That's not a reason not to get it, of course. But what just like she said, I wonder why I've got all these bites now. Maybe it's the rug. If all of a sudden you've got some kind of spiritual dilemma that's recurring in the property or in your life, and you think, I wonder if it was attached to that thing I just bought from, the bazaar.
We had a case.
It's always
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we had a case out in East Atlanta where we were getting spikes on all the equipment near and around and under this lady's bed, to the point where the bishop asked her, how long have you had this bed or this mattress? And very similar, she basically found it on the side of the road and thought it was in decent shape and brought it into the house, and chaos ensues. And I think he used a couple of bottles of holy water on that bad boy.
I probably did. That sounds like.
But that was the
do.
source of the paranormal activity. That was an odd case.
Yeah,
it was just kind of one of those. How long have you had the? Oh, I found it on the road. Well, that might be a problem.
It's probably where it came from.
It's why certainly exorcism cases are part detective, part priest. Definitely. I think I've mentioned it on the show before where. And it took a long time to figure this out because it starts with would you come and bless my house, Father, which is not an unusual thing for someone to ask, and then it's kind of would you come and bless it again? Oh, okay. And then you find out there's something going on, and long story short, there's an object in the house, which in this case was an icon of the Last Supper, by the way. So it's a Christian image. The last thing that you'd probably go to
associate
which
with
was
that.
present in it was present in a house in Eastern Europe where a black magic ceremony took place, which wasn't the fault of this person, but these objects had come with them, and I was like, I think that might be the problem.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, and that can be it. I mean, people would think, it's a religious object, but see, that should. What we've been trying to tell you all this time is that religious objects are not talismans, even when they're blessed.
No.
Okay, they're just objects, and they can pick up vibrations as negative as anything else can. An image of God is not God. All right, it is a holy image when used in a faithful way. But
I was able to rehallow that. I mean, I celebrated mass.
Usually, all it takes is
the corporal. I used it as the anti-mention essentially.
There you go. I'll do it.
And did resolve.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Now, the second part of this question is then what of individuals who take the cursed object with them and store it? Well, they're probably going to have problems. But if you're talking about things like the Warren Museum or the Haunted Museum of Zach Bagans.
Yeah, the wards.
There's different ways of processing that. Now, in some ways, the better thing to have done is to destroy these objects with a holy fire. That is our procedure. That definitively takes care of everything. I can tell you that. Now, it won't necessarily take care of people that still harbor the attachment, but as far as the object goes, the source of the attachment is broken at that point. So a holy fire is the best way. That's not always something you're going to see happen, and there's certain situations where it's not necessary, and so as long as you're collecting these things and like literally securing a place just for this purpose, assuming certain, blessings are held in place and maintained, there's actually nothing wrong with doing it. Now, I know the Warrens are a controversial group. I don't even know the degree. I know the stories that they put things that from their cases that were either haunted or had attachments in this in their, I think it was in their house or garage in their house, was it? Maybe
it's an attached building. They've got it warded, and they have a holy water procedure they do, and I think
I heard that.
They bless it several times a week, but I don't know what the procedure is now.
Well, I mean, that was when she was alive. I don't know what they're doing anymore.
I don't know with Mr. Sparrow, now that it's no longer under his care. I don't know.
I don't know.
What they're doing.
So, I mean, assuming they actually were doing that, I don't know enough about that. I never met the Warrens, so I don't really know. But I mean, assuming they were doing that, then there's really nothing wrong per se. I don't know about the tourism aspect of it. That's problematic. But people are going to do what people are going to do. As far as Zach's museum, I doubt that Zach's going to really run into any problems there as long as he's not like sleeping there. I mean, if he spends a lot of time there, which I guess is possible, that could affect people over time. The employees could be affected over time. I think he has a pretty high turnover, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think maybe there's a few that have been there.
Yeah.
Quite a while, but I think the average turnover is like 2 years.
I think that's about as much as you can take, So I wouldn't recommend it, but it's better than it being in people's houses. And I mean, even we sometimes will get cases with I don't like throwing dolls. I don't like throwing effigies in holy fires. I throw, pure inanimate objects are fine. Effigies I have a problem with. So like Father Chris's Last Supper painting there, I would not, assuming the mass that he did would not have worked, it's possible, depending upon the level of attachment, that even that might not be enough to salvage it, where maybe a holy fire is, I still wouldn't do that. What I would do is I'd exercise the artifact, and then I would send it away to a place where it can just be stored properly. So I have actually sent many objects to the Haunted Museum, for Zach to store away when they are effigy related. That's the only thing I don't throw into holy fires. And I have different reasons for that, which we can get into at another time, but it's more complex than I can probably answer here now. But everything else is fair game. Ouija boards, books, anything that... jewelry, anything. I mean, I've destroyed a lot of things. In fact, we even had something that was jewelry, it was gold. We had to melt it down. Mm-hmm. And it was melted down and destroyed. I mean,
it was actually kind of odd how quickly it melted. I think it was solid brass.
No, you're talking about the bell.
Yeah.
I'm talking about an actual piece of gold jewelry. It might have been before your time.
It may have been.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the bell.
No, we actually had to have, I had the members of my team that had access to one of those blast furnaces that could
Smelting,
go, and they could smelt it down, and it got liquefied and dissolved and mixed in with other things, and they just threw the whole thing out.
I've got to connect on that too if we ever need them again.
Oh, good.
Where I spent most of my public ministry church was down the road from the biggest aluminium smelter in Australia. So,
there you go. You can use that.
That was pretty handy.
That is handy, yeah. Honestly, that's the best way to handle it. So essentially what we would do is we'd exercise the object and put it in a whole, if you can save it, and for the day you have a holy fire, then you can just throw it into the holy fire. If it's something that is metal or something that probably wouldn't be destroyed fully in a normal fire, then we can do that, smelt it down. We had a Gohazon once that wreaked havoc.
Shit.
Killed my cat.
Yeah.
It tried to attack. It attacked your car.
It killed my battery.
Yeah.
And I saw it.
Yeah, and you got to see it. That was a problem.
That was strange.
And that's the one where we had a skull coming up out of the flames. You weren't there for that.
No, but you sent it to me. I was actually at work. I was still a cop, and you sent me the still shots of it, and I was like, "That's pretty compelling. That doesn't look like pareidolia."
No,
and you told me where it was rolling around, it looked like flesh burning.
We couldn't capture it with video very well for some reason, but with the naked eye. It held its shape. And that's what it was. It wasn't pareidolia in the sense you just take a still shot of a flame and say, "Oh well, that's what." It stayed looking like a skull.
Yeah.
And it kind of screamed a little bit. It was really a very interesting sound.
It sounded like a high-pitched wail.
But when it killed the cat, that was it. We were saving a special day for Jamie to come over to take care of that with me. And when it killed the cat, I'm like, "Tracy, I'm done. We're going to kill that fucking thing. And we did. And never had
with
a problem.
prejudice.
With prejudice. Yeah. We didn't have anything again. I mean, sometimes you just have to take it, like that. And so cursed objects.
Story execution.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Righteous vengeance.
I don't keep cursed objects on property anymore because of that. What happened was we had a salt seal. Somebody disrupted the seal and it got out.
I think what happened was because it was your garage. I think maybe a breeze got underneath it and broke
the seal.
Yeah,
probably. But it was the day that the seal broke. That was the day that we had all the problems.
Havoc.
It did. So there you go. That's the cursed object, and hopefully that answers the question.
Fascinating.
Yep, it is.
So the final question, it's a little bit of a lengthy one, but I was listening to one of the rabbi that I go to when I have a question specific to Judaism, and I'm confused regarding the understanding, or at least their understanding of the Messiah. Based on my understanding, the Messiah archetype didn't originate alongside Judaism, rather during the Babylonian exile, in which this human ruler from the lineage of David would rebuild the temple, among other things. The exile ended when Cyrus the Great conquered Babylon and allowed the exiles to return and rebuild the temple. So based on the history, the temple had already been rebuilt. Therefore, one of the things the Messiah was said to do was done. Or was it meant to be a temple that would stand indefinitely?
Well, see, from the Christian vantage point, it was absolutely supposed to be a temple that would stand indefinitely, just not the kind of temple you're expecting. The second temple, though, from a Jewish perspective, was never intended to be the final one. The Messiah was expected to restore the entire Davidic monarchy and liberate the Jewish people from the tyranny of Rome, and basically all these other tyrants, which was interesting, the whole Babylonian exile thing. So, they had a lot of problems. They were put into captivity several times. And, and this led to, I think, almost a need to be saved and a desire to be saved. And this is really sort of the precursor to understanding the need for Christ. But again, Jewish people never made that leap. Christians did. But the whole point here was that this Messiah, for both Jews and Christians, would lead everyone into a more perfect understanding of God that would lead to a state of permanent universal peace. Now, ultimately, this is the kingdom of heaven for Christians. For the Jewish people of that time, however, it was seen as a very physical thing that would happen on earth. But from our vantage point, from the Christian vantage point, it's everything that Jesus accomplished that no one else really could ever really accomplish, but he did. I mean, you think about it. He did overthrow Rome, not the way the Jewish people wanted him to or expected him to, but he did. It became the base of the Christian church, and it still is. I mean, I don't know how much more you need from God to convince you that he overthrew Rome, but I mean, it became the center of the capital of Christianity, and still is. And even if you're not a Catholic, everybody listens to the Pope. Even Protestants still pay attention to what the Pope's doing. That's how significant.
And they pay more attention than anybody else.
I think they do.
They want to find a reason to criticize him.
Yeah.
But I think, as an aside, by the way, when your president went to the Knesset, he was lauded as he'll be remembered in Jewish history just like Cyrus the Great was. That was interestingly. To bring it back to the messianic figure, when we conduct baptisms, following the baptisms of the anointing, and we say, as Christ was anointed priest, prophet, and king. And so really Messiah is not about the rebuilding of a temple in terms of the second temple, which was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD.
And did not have the Ark of the Covenant. So it never really had the true presence of God in it.
That's right. Yeah. And so, and again, I mean, this is what my thing's about, but in the Jewish understanding of the first and second temples, you have priests that offer a victim for the remission of sins of the people that shed the blood of an animal. And of course, we believe that because Jesus says, essentially his body is the temple. This temple will be torn down in 3 days; it will be restored. And there you have the uniting of priest and priest and victim in Jesus Christ, and so his shedding of blood is eternal. So that forgiveness is an eternal offering for all mankind before and post the resurrection. So the messianic figure of Jesus does fulfill all of those prophetic predictions of the Old Testament, Isaiah in particular. But like the bishop said, it was just in a way that was not politically expected. It was a politically incorrect Messiah.
I think that's why he wasn't accepted. I really do.
Of course. Well, and in a way, he had to be rejected. That's also part of the messianic narrative.
True. That is true.
The stone that's been rejected becomes the cornerstone.
Yeah.
So, if you want to read more about that, read the book of Hebrews. It really does sort of spell this out. Yeah. So I would say that yes, there's a different image of Messiah in contemporary Judaism, which of course is very difficult to say that that's what the Jews of that period thought, because it's a very, very different religion, really.
It is.
That's not me making any comment on their Semitic character. I'm very pro-Jew, but look, I think it's obvious that Jesus is the Messiah, and I think they're wrong. But that's okay. I prefer to engage in the dialogue of saying, rather than saying you're wrong and I'm right, of saying, well, explain to me your image of the Messiah, and then my response is to sort of explain how Jesus fulfills that. But the one thing that Protestants are right about is ultimately it is about making a decision. Becoming a Christian, whatever hue you want to take, is about making a decision and saying, okay, I'm now going to put my faith in this. And what that means, by the way, is not coming to an altar call and saying, okay, I accept you, now fix me. It's saying, okay, I'm now going to, it's a bit like a marriage. I'm now going to grasp hold of this, and come what may, I'm not letting go. And I'm going to work with all of my strength to nourish this faith and to share it and pass it on and find meaning in it. That's what it really means to choose Christ.
Well said. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if that's the full answer you're expecting. I mean, I'm not a Jewish scholar here. I'm certainly not an expert in Jewish theology, but I think the Messiah component, because it is the foundation to Christianity, I think it does make some kind of tangible sense, and that I think you have to question, and it's not an attack on anyone, but I think you have to start to question, here's this guy that came, all right, a bunch of people said this is what happened. That person went on and took over the world, and you guys have been left behind for all this time, and you still, all these problems continued on. The temple gets destroyed. Then there's the big exile. I think, I think you have to stop and think, did you miss it? Did you actually miss it?
In fairness, it's why Orthodox Jews are, they would much rather we were Christians than not. Do you know what I mean? Than atheists or anything else, because Ben Shapiro, for example, is a great. He keeps constantly telling everyone to go to church. It's interesting, but it's because, of course, from an Orthodox Jewish point of view, their vision is, well, you are. It's actually the same thing we believe. You are connected to Judaism through following this Jew, Jesus, and we say, we are. That's exactly St. Paul's theology. We're grafted to the vine through Christ, and so on that we actually have a common ground, and that's why, as opposed to secular Jews, Orthodox Jews are not anti-Christian. I mean, they obviously don't want their fellow Jews to become Christians, but they want Christians to be Christians because they see that as there is a connection there.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think ultimately, people are going to find God in their own way. And I think the church has become far more enlightened in recent times and accepting that than it was in the past. There was a time where the Catholic Mass did not pray for Jews, and now we do. You know, it's a part of.
Well, I only prayed for the perfidious Jews.
Yeah. But I mean, what it is it shows that we understand relationship. There, I remember when I was a seminarian. The Jewish temple that was literally right next door to my parish had a full renovation. The place was gutted, and they had no place to operate in that time. And our pastor said, "You can have our recreation center," which was very large, probably bigger than their temple, than their little synagogue. And so we had, we were hosting these Jewish families for months while their synagogue was being refurbished. And I thought it was such a delightful thing to see.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, and so we had always had a good relationship, and of course South Florida has a lot of Jewish people, so I always had a good relationship with them. They always had a good relationship with me, and the whole Christian Jewish thing really was never an issue. Not really. I mean, fun, interesting debates from time to time, but never any hostilities. So I'm glad that we've arrived, at least for the most part, at a place where that's at least with Catholics. I can't speak for all Christians.
With sincere people.
Yeah, with sincere
Christians,
people, sincere Christians, people that take the religion seriously, see a lot of value in our Jewish connection, even if it's not a one through hereditary, in a hereditary sense, but it's one in a spiritual sense, which in my opinion is even more important. All right, so we're going to take our break here. When we come back, Aurorah Yarberry is going to start talking about astrology and taking your questions and looking at your charts. Make sure you get that over to Brandon. I'll put it up on the screen here again when we come back, so don't go away.
Darling, you and I. Barely scratching the surface. This obsession of mine is fueling the furnace. I'm up all night and we're intertwined. Darling, you and I, and my heart beats cold under your control. Just a false echo. I'm a ghost. Did I lose my mind in your mercury eyes? Am I going blind? You're the reason why. And my heart beats cold under your control. Just a false echo. Did I lose my mind in your mercury eyes? Am I going blind? The reason why. Music's loud and I'm feeling alright. Slow motion, baby, it's just you and I. Yet the burn makes you feel so alive. And Let the rhythm move us, yeah baby, take it too far. You're at the center of my attention, yeah you got me so lost. I love the way that you move and how the lights keep up the groove. We're like in a movie, baby, but it's ending too soon. Let's party together. Tonight is forever. Let's party together. Tonight is forever.
Welcome back, everyone, to the second hour of Vestiges After Dark. We are now getting started on our show tonight with astrology and our wonderful returning guest, Aurorah Yarberry, to take your questions and look at your charts and just discuss what the cosmos has to say about you and the times we live in. It's going to be an interesting night, and I hope that you're getting your birth data over to Brandon so he can get it over to Aurorah, and we can find out what she has to say. I'll put Brandon's email up on the screen here shortly, and you can also call into the show to talk directly once we have your chart information. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, everyone. I'm looking forward to this. Our guest tonight is Aurorah Yarberry. She's an artist, writer, and producer whose journey with astrology began back in 2008. She's the voice behind the long-running podcast Blood, Moon, Milk, which she launched in 2018 to explore the deeper layers of Western astrology in a way that's as soulful as it is intellectually grounded. But don't expect daily horoscopes or generic predictions from Aurorah. She's built her reputation by rejecting those cookie-cutter approaches. Instead, she delivers sharp, intuitive insights through her newsletter, The Daily Dose, a morning read designed to help you tune into cosmic energies before your day even begins. Aurorah brings thousands of years of recorded astrological observation dating back to the Phoenician era into the modern moment, using those historical cycles to help forecast future trends. For her, astrology isn't fortune telling, it's a tool for mindfulness and growth. She's a strong advocate for living in rhythm with the lunar cycles, using them as a spiritual framework for setting intentions, adjusting course when life gets turbulent, and stepping into moments of opportunity with clarity and purpose. Tonight, she joins us to help demystify natal charts and the planetary energies that influence them and us. Please welcome Aurorah to the show. How you doing tonight, Aurorah?
Hello, hello.
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm happy to see you all again. Happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we had
Thank
such
you.
a great time talking with you last time. I think it's been way too long, so we're just so happy that you could take a night out and spend it with us and with our audience, and everyone's happy to have you here.
Thank you. It's truly my pleasure. Wanted to come back a little bit sooner, but I had school. I was working on a master's degree. And
I know that's rough. I know how rough that could be.
Master's degree accomplished, unlocked.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wonderful.
Thank you so much. But yeah, this year's astrology, I think last year when we talked, we were getting close to the elections and you were asking me about what I thought was going to unfold. And I was like, I don't really make predictions, but I don't like what I feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Did your feelings come to fruition yet?
I mean, like,
That's a whole other podcast.
no, that's a whole other thing. But it's funny how, like, you know, for me, when I look at astrology and charts and transits alongside, you know, headlines and real life events and things that happen, it is always a surprise how things show up. But I do get a sense of the bullet points and the highlights of what's coming our way, thanks to astrology. But it's interesting to see it unfold.
Yes.
Because the universe will just show up and surprise you. You think it's going to zig. It will still zag, but it will be zigging too.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I made a TikTok post earlier this year, like at the very beginning of the year, and I was like, this is going to be one of the most insanely active, intense years of change we've ever lived through collectively.
Yeah.
And I think that would probably be true for just about everybody
Yeah,
I've
we
met.
can mark that off the list. Yeah,
I
that's
think
definitely.
you were right on target there. I mean, just even outside of the politics and the volatility that has come with it, just look at AI as an instrument for change and what the implications are for that. I don't know if anybody saw the promotion tonight, but I use Sora 2. As Timothy, he's in the chat tonight, he had mentioned to me on the Nicolan Network that, you know, AI is just about gotten rid of the uncanny valley to the point that now it can produce an image of a person that's fully convinced. You know, it convinces anyone that it's a real person. They talk naturally. They have our facial expressions down perfectly. This is going to change the world irrevocably. Maybe not necessarily for the worse, but it definitely is going to make it very different. I think a lot of good things are going to come, a lot of bad things from this as well, just like anything else that's powerful. But I think that's a mark of this time too, don't you, Aurorah? I mean, I think there's a lot going on here, the least of which is politics. You know?
Totally. It's
Yeah.
so like we can go a lot of different directions with how things are the way they are. Oh, sorry. My dog is here and she likes to chime in sometimes.
Hey,
Of
Pupper.
course. Yes. They love when you talk about spiritual topics.
Oh yeah. He just comes and like hangs out sometimes. But so I would suggest that Pluto in Aquarius is the most closely linked transit that is like married to the development of AI. Aquarius is the sign of technology, and Pluto is the sign of change, of revolution, of death and rebirth. And so like whatever sign it's moving through, it is changing how that sign acts in the world. For the last 20-ish years or so, Pluto's been traveling through the sign of Capricorn, so that's major business entities and government as well. But now it moved into the sign of Aquarius, and the day that it moved into Aquarius for their very, very first time was the day that ChatGPT was released.
Oh my goodness.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Well,
Sure, it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, like whether or not it is the universe and the cosmos sort of showing up through mundane events, or if it's actually the other way around, people are planning for it because they know this transit's coming, and people with deep investment dollar pockets have resources to look at stuff like this. Who's to say? But it's definitely just the beginning of a trend that is going to shift, I think, the landscape of the way that creative content is made, whether that is, I think we're in the end of the era of like big studios making stuff. We're seeing a lot of consolidation, like the Warner Brothers merger that could be happening with Paramount potentially, or Netflix, or whoever buys it, whatever. But it's like this consolidation of those business entities that used to be really diverse.
Gatekeepers.
Yeah, you know, in a way. But
I know editors as well. Like it's pros and cons. I know.
Yeah. I mean, like, but I think that this technology is really going to start to democratize who can make what and what quality that it can be made at, and like it's going to get to be so good that like the high school student down the street, instead of making a Super 8 film, they're making an AI film that is the next Spielberg, you know, but they just might be able to do it at home.
Even the silly intro to this show, I decided now that AI's gotten good enough that I can make a pretty cool intro. And I just spent a day, you know, putting together a bunch of goofy AI videos and made the intro to this show. And, you know, even just 5 years ago, you would need a Hollywood budget to do what I just did in literally a day with AI. It's crazy, and I did it all for free. I did it all just with I pay the $30 package for with ChatGPT, but I mean, it was basically free to do. You know, it's crazy that I could do this, and I'm not even a film guy, you know. It's insane.
Yeah, it's getting pretty good. But I will say that AI will never actually replace human creativity.
That's good.
It's just a mimic, you know. It will be trained on what we decide to feed it. Right. So being mindful of what we use it for, I think, is really important, and having an ethical approach, because it's certainly going to be one of those things that can be used for good or for ill. So, you know, like,
yeah, I like the analogy, you know, it's a sign writer, not Da Vinci.
Yeah. I mean, unless
a sign writer copies, you know.
Yeah. But I do think it's an interesting tool to use to help you develop your creative workflow, however you want to develop your product, whatever it is your goal is. Use it to help you get like strategize, to keep track of notes, to concept a business plan. You know, there's lots of ways to use it to your advantage.
Absolutely.
That are like beneficial, where before, you had to have a team and you had to network and know people, and you still do, but it's like, it's just changing, you know. We're on the verge now, and it'll really start to happen next year. We're like at the end of a very specific chapter in history, and on the verge of a new beginning. And I say that looking at the astrology. This year isn't a year of endings. every single planet is moving signs this year, which isn't normal. I don't know the last time that actually happened where like every single planet moved from one sign to another.
Wow.
We're used to having the inner planets move. The inner planets are the sun and, well, sun's always on the move, but like Mercury, Mars, and Venus and Jupiter, those are the inner personal planets. Those move every year. The outer planets are slower, and they all have different like orbit lengths. And so for them all to change signs in the same year, and then we have a really interesting conjunction between Saturn and Neptune next year that will be at precisely 0 degrees of Aries, which is the beginning of the zodiac. And so it's two very strong, very powerful planets coming together for the first time in thousands of years at that degree. And we don't really know what that looks like as astrologers. Like we can speculate, but there wasn't really anybody watching and paying attention the last time
that happened.
Oh, strap in, kids.
Specifically.
Do you know that how long ago it was last time? Was it like
the specific thing about it is not, there's Saturn Neptune conjunctions on a regular enough basis.
Yeah.
But for it to be happening at the 0 degree mark of the zodiac, which is the very beginning.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened in at least 9,000 years, as far as I can tell.
So there's no recorded history of this.
Wow. Before recorded history.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
There have been conjunctions of Saturn and Neptune in different signs, but it's not in Aries at 0 degrees that I can find. Now, if somebody else has found it, great. Like, let me know. I'll look at it. Happy to hear about it. But like, I haven't.
What do you think that means? I mean, I know that we don't really. What would you speculate? What's your best guess for what that could look like?
So they're both outer planets with strong personalities. Saturn is used to getting his way, but Neptune is stronger. He's further out. So he kind of sets the tone he kind of makes the rules of engagement. He's the one who is going to win and overpower Saturn's influence. So I look at him as like the top note of a fragrance, if you will. Like, what is the thing that this thing feels like? So Neptune is dreams. It's the subconscious. It's spirituality. And it'll be in the sign of Aries at the very beginning. It's like Big Bang energy. Like Aries is the god of war. It's action. It's creative. It's always moving. It doesn't always think. It is doing. It is just sort of a gut reaction, instinctual sort of flurry of activity that I think is going to kick off. And then Saturn will be there too. And I think what Saturn will do in a positive way is that it'll give it structure. So whatever this like divinely inspired sort of spiritual revolution of sorts, like like some people say like they think it might be some kind of great awakening or, new earth or, things like this sort of spiritual enlightenment for all kind of an event. And, I think that's, up for debate, but I think it could be the beginning of people looking at maybe science and spirituality as more of a realistic way to explain stuff, and then really sort of stepping into it and accepting what people have intuitively felt spiritually for centuries, since time immemorial, into a way that is like maybe somewhat more explainable and understood, maybe like is
Do you think aliens might fit into this? Like, could there be an actual disclosure?
I mean, like, there's some interesting, like Pluto in Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of aliens.
Yeah.
Also, like, and now we've got this 3-eye atlas thing coming at us.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Mothership.
And like,
you got that Harvard professor that's saying it's a ship, right?
Well, I've heard that it's split into pieces, and the pieces have been like maneuvering.
That's intriguing. Yeah, I've heard that too.
One thing's for sure, we can't do a damn thing about it.
Well, what's interesting is that NASA is not putting out any information right now because of it's a government agency and we're shut down right now.
Yeah.
So they're not doing that. So we have to look to other countries to kind of help fill in our blank spot. And it's hard to tell from here what they're saying, like if they're saying anything, or there's some things that I've read that are like, this is wild, y'all. Like it's hard to tell like what people are saying right now.
Yeah.
But I think that this universe is far too big, far too ancient for us to be the only things that are alive and kicking around.
Yeah, agreed.
I agree. And I think just looking at the way things have been unfolding in just the last couple of years, really, there's something strange going on. I've been saying it on this show for the last couple of years. Something strange is going on. And I wonder sometimes if it's not being reflected here in these very bizarre configurations of astrology that you've mentioned that seems to indicate an entirely new reality, or being on the precipice of one.
There are definitely people in the astrology field who speculate that this could be like the introduction or reintroduction to our species to the universe in a more intergalactic kind of way, and a sort of awakening of our role in the cosmos.
Oh boy, the Anunnaki are coming back, y'all.
I don't know. I
mean, hey.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen under one of these signs, right?
That's another one of those theories, yeah. The Anunnaki.
Well, there's a lot of wild stuff happening astrologically this year, and aliens is definitely one of those bullet points where it's like, this could definitely be a real weird possibility that isn't completely unfounded.
There's also this thing called the Schumann resonance.
And resonance, yeah.
You're familiar. Yeah. Okay, so they've been having a lot of energy spikes the last few weeks. And they're talking about if you have these systems, you're, vibrationally connected to it, or you're more sensitive to it. And all the symptoms that they're talking about, I've definitely experienced. You know, insomnia, when you do sleep, you have very vivid dreams, ears ringing, fatigue, waking up between 2 and 4 in the morning for no reason, shooting out of bed for no reason, headaches, depression, anxiety, all just hit for no reason, unexplained. And I just happened to cross this group on Facebook, and it's been kind of interesting to see the changes every day. Yeah, they're having like whiteouts on this thing, and it measures the vibrational resonance of the Earth. Correct?
There's a great so it is the electromagnetic resonance of the Earth, which is sort of like the Earth's heartbeat.
Yeah, gotcha.
So there's a really great human resonance content creator named Erin Brown, and she was kind enough to come on my show a little while ago because I stumbled across her, and she does these really lovely daily updates of the resonance. And I was looking at the resonant charts and astrology transits, and I was like, I think that the Schumann resonance is the reflection of the energy that we are getting after the transits perfect. So their energy is coming to us in a delayed fashion, just slightly, like from the time that it occurs.
That's fascinating.
And then it's showing up in the resonance and then in our bodies. And I think that the way people's individual charts, I have a theory that people of like who have more earth signs will react in a different way than people who have more like air sign energy in their chart, because not everybody reacts the same way. Like some people, when they get that like white energy, they're just like totally drained and out of it. And then some people are super energized and on, and it kind of depends. But I'm sort of the opposite of whatever Erin Brown is. But I think she's a Virgo. She's earth energy, strong earth energy in her chart. And I'm a lot of fire. So it kind of makes sense that we would feel things differently.
Yeah, I'm a water, so I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
We both are.
It's highly intuitive, though.
Yeah.
Intuition is, some people say that intuition is the highest form of intellect.
Well, I'm definitely feeling it. I mean, it was almost scary when I started reading into it. I'm like, I have every one of these symptoms, and the dreams have just been crazy.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy
interesting. There's a correlation
time.
between the astronomy and that's fascinating to me. Everything's connected.
I've gotten so many people emailing me, sending me messages privately, even sometimes, in more public locations, saying that they feel as though something is not right. Like ever since 2020 with the COVID-19, that they feel like as if we're living in another reality, like as if the universe changed, or like as if somebody changed the timeline and kind of like Back to the Future 2, where we're now on this alternate course. A lot of people say it feels like this, and I kind of agree with
CERN,
them.
man. CERN did it.
CERN did it. I
They
mean,
flipped our timeline on us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm only half joking.
Well, yeah, I certainly feel like we're living in a universe where Biff is the president.
Yeah, I wish he could just go back and get a casino. That was a lot safer for Biff.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, like it. Oh, yeah. But things have been off for a minute. But I don't think I'm hopeful for the future. I feel like we've gone through the hardest parts, but we're still at the very beginning of this upswing journey from the depths of the worst. And we're watching things fall apart that were built at the tail end of what I kind of consider like the hardest parts of those energetic transits. Mm-hmm. And so, but it kind of has to happen for there to be enough room for new stuff to grow. And so, the best thing to do is to mind your business and like take care of your inner health, like your emotional well-being and your spiritual life, whatever that means for you, whether you like meditate, go walk in the woods or go to church or whatever. Like take care of yourself so that you're not overreacting to people who are having a hard time, and just being kind, and I really do think that if you can do those couple of basic things on a daily basis, things will just work out.
I think it will eventually balance itself back. I think it always does. The universe goes back towards a state of balance. It's just, the cycles for the universe are much larger than anything we experience. So it feels like a long time. And
we are at the end of a long geocosmic age. Mm-hmm. And so that is just a chaotic, tumultuous time that is it's not, a 2-week period. It's actually like more like a decade, really, spanning back to, it was really December 19th, 2019, when there was like this big triple conjunction between Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and Capricorn. And that kicked off the COVID, everything not long after that. And so now we're in like a new age where everything is happening in air signs and fire signs, which is quick moving energy that's really creative, full of ideas. But it's like the pieces haven't quite fallen into place yet.
It's for
the new things to start. And I think that next year, when we get to, I'm looking at February 2020 or February 20th of next year, 2026, as a really interesting day, like maybe of our whole lives, like potentially.
I'm gonna put that on my calendar.
It's interesting because our guest we had on for numerology also said that we were coming to the end of an age and getting ready to start a new age, the
numerologist,
numerological terms. So it seems like all the disciplines are lining up. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Everything's lining up.
So if it feels like a year of endings and a lot of sadness in general for people,
that's true.
Try to hang in there, because next year I think is going to be a much more creative year, full of beginnings and new projects and a lot of exciting opportunities. So it's a good idea to rest while you can, and try not to get too distracted by the noise. And I know it's distracting, but try to, find some peace in your life. Try to tune out of the news cycle as much as you can. and just stay centered, because this will pass. It's just a phase.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, but it
Definitely.
It certainly is.
Yeah, it's affecting everybody somehow.
I'm hoping that, with whatever charts, you look at tonight, that maybe we'll be able to see or help some people find peace in their lives right now, because I think that's the big question, I think, on everybody's mind is, will there ever be a sense of normalcy again?
Well, it won't be like it was, but it will be a new normal. But it won't be the deal with Pluto moving into Aquarius, which it's happened a couple of times, like in and out, but now it's solidly in Aquarius for the next 20 or so years. Is that the power structure is moving away from big entities, big companies, corporations, governments, et cetera, to grassroots up power. So it really will be power back in the hands of the people.
That's good.
And we're already seeing that happen in real time. Like little communities are doing what they feel in their hearts is the right thing to do in their own way. And it's kind of amazing to watch how it happens in different places in different ways. And it's really cool and inspiring and totally different than what we're used to hearing and seeing. And people are seeing through the veil of, because it's time for that to change, and it's just, but we're at the beginning of it. So there's a lot of work done, but it's okay.
I'd like to see the fall of our neo-feudal society that we have existed in to some degree, because even though it's nice to have products from other locations and a lot of variety and some of the benefits that come with that, I also feel that people have become enslaved by corporations, that we don't have really control over our government anymore. It's not a government for the people. It's a government that's controlled by the corporate establishment. And that's not what the founding fathers intended in this country. And certainly that's just nothing more than another type of feudalism, because, instead of kings, now you have CEOs. Instead of kingdoms, you have companies. But, everyone's sort of enslaved through serfdom to have to serve at this lower level, because that's as high as they're allowed to get, right? I'd like to see that change. I would.
I think it will. And it's kind of maybe the most exciting time to be alive in a lot of ways because of things like AI. We have computers, we have quantum computing now, and we can do a lot, and there's enough money and intelligence in the world for everybody to have a roof over their head and to not be sick, and to have the opportunity for some sort of education. And I think that will become more and more available in sort of the public baseline of stuff for sure, as time sort of unfolds and rules for us. But it's going to be because we stand up for it, though, we get what we demand, not what we deserve. A lot of times as public people, and we've been rolling over for a long time. Other people in other countries don't do that. People in other countries have don't just go home and turn on Netflix. Yeah. They get strategic. They plan, work strikes. They, don't shop. There's things that you can do that aren't necessarily violent that wake people up whose only interest is the bottom line. And that's what we are working against, is people who really only look at spreadsheets and numbers, and they're making big financial decisions that affect a lot of people with just brutal margins in mind. And they're not calculating the ROI of a human investment a lot of times. But that being said, let's look at some astrology charts.
Yeah, let's do it. So how I envision doing this is, we're just to preserve the personal data, we're having Brandon send you information from anybody that's requesting that you look at their chart. For the audience, they're welcome to call into the show You can call in at the number that I put on the screen. That's 207-544-1983 if you want to have an actual conversation. If you prefer to just have her, have Aurora just give you what she sees, and you can comment in the chat, and we can kind of relay that back too. I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable, but the easier way would probably be to call in. But we can start taking. Do you want to pick one, or do you want us to just take somebody that calls in first? How would you want to handle it?
Well, I was going to go in order for whoever's information landed in my inbox first.
Okay, that works for me. Okay.
I got them within the last hour. I haven't really looked at them other than just putting information in there. Okay. So we can start with Brandon. All right. If that works.
Yeah. So there you go. And for the audience, if you've got one that you want to throw out there, I don't know how many you guys have, you already have, but Brandon's email is on screen right now. You can send your birth data. That's basically your date, birth date, your time of birth, and your city, state, province, country, that kind of thing. Just put it in and send it to Brandon. He'll get it over to Aurora. Okay, so let's start with Brandon.
Okay. So I'm just going to talk about what I see. I'm not going to share my screen to keep people's private information private. But I'll be happy to send everybody. I'll send you all screenshots of the charts in a response email, so you can send that back to people later.
Absolutely.
So,
great.
Brandon, let's look at your chart right now. Okay. What's been going on at home or with your mom lately? Because there's some changes, a little bit of, that's where Saturn is. So it's either a sense of responsibility, either you're moving somewhere or taking on more responsibilities. But then Neptune is also in that house, that fourth house of home, like your physical house, but it also has to do with your mother as well, potentially.
Jump spot, bro.
I think you left him speechless.
So is anything going on? If not, and it doesn't, it could be either your physical house, maybe you've moved, or there's stuff going on at home. Anything you feel like talking about, you don't have to, but.
So nothing negative. Here, I want to say earlier this year, my previous job, kind of some finances and whatnot changed, and I had to move back home. But now I'm in a new job trying to pay off debt and move out, all that fun stuff in the year of our Lord 2025. I think more so things have been a little more positive, especially with my mother. I've been trying to introduce a lot more of what you taught in the webinar, Bishop, about remaining objective observers, kind of not aligning with any beliefs. And she's taken very well to it. That now she used to identify, I wouldn't really say as a MAGA conservative Christian, but she's now kind of stepped back and even shared a post on Buddhism and sent it to me. And I thought, oh, okay. So it's been some really positive changes. Nothing really negative, no.
That's good.
That's great. I wonder what her chart looks like, because that sounds like she's going through some ninth house transits that have to do with spirituality, religion, philosophy, worldview. But for you to have moved back home with her and interacted with her in that way, I would say, so Saturn is there. Saturn's finishing up his jaunt through Pisces. He has been in Pisces since March 6, 2023, or March 7th, right around in there. And then has been moving through Pisces, which is the most spiritual of signs. Neptune, of course, also rules Pisces. So for those two heavy hitters to be kind of playing in the field of the unconscious, the spiritual side, not so the religious, it's not dogmatic Pisces energy. It is creative, spiritual, divine inspiration. That, I would liken it to that feeling of going outside and looking at the stars and just being whoa, the universe is really big, that kind of sense of awe and inspiration that comes from an experience like that.
I'd say, I don't know if it's connected to that, but I've actually been doing that a lot more. for going outside, looking at night, and like even on investigations we do. Like actually Saturday we were at an investigation, and I just kind of like look up at the stars because it was a clear sky.
So Saturday was an interesting day astrologically because speaking of Saturn, Saturn was in opposition to Venus on Saturday, which is it brings a lot of tension between masculine power structures and feminine power structures. And it brought a lot of tensions to financial markets. On Friday, leading up to that Venus-Saturn opposition, we had a huge sell-off in the financial markets, which was really interesting to see play out. So these planets have been going through that fourth house for a long time, but you also have the North Node in Pisces in your fourth house right now. And the North Node is all about our sense of destiny, and it's not always easy what it's doing. So it might have been sort of difficult or humbling to move back home when you went home. But I do get the sense from your chart that this is a sort of fated time that you're being given to spend with your mom for the time being. In hindsight, you're going to be really grateful for it, even though maybe it wasn't under the most ideal circumstances when things happened. Maybe you wouldn't have picked the way it happened, but you're grateful for what happened as a result. And that's going to last for another 18 months or so, or well, a little less than that, like between about a year, another year-ish. And so when the North Node gets to Aquarius, it's going to change you're going to have a big change in terms of, I think you're going to be doing more travel, maybe speaking more, public presentations, and possibly writing, but short-term travel, like short trips, I think might be something that are on the horizon in the not too distant future. Is that something that you would be interested in?
Oh, he's coming down to see me in next week, so there you go.
That's travel. It counts. And we know he's a writer.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm down for traveling.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in your natal chart in the third house. Your Mars is in the third house next to your Jupiter and your moon. So I think there's you're gearing up for a lot of activity that will be happening in about a year or so. So take the time now to rest and try not to rush stuff too much. I know it can be kind of annoying to wait for things to happen if you're ready for that next step to show up. But I think we're on a cosmic timeline sort of collectively at the moment as well. Not just you, but we're waiting for some stuff to unfold, and then the right opportunities it's gonna be a flurry of activity. All of a sudden a light switch gets flipped and you're like, gonna be busy.
Am I looking forward to it?
That sounds good, Brandon. I like that.
That'd be all right.
Yeah, I think also maybe next year there could be the opportunity for some sort of higher education too, like some sort of maybe advanced training. Jupiter will be moving into your ninth house, which is the house of religion, but also higher education, so like university or an advanced degree of some kind, or international travel. And Jupiter will be there for a whole year, so there might be some sort of year-long program that you do that kind of makes you busy in a lot of ways and requires a lot of writing. I think that could be what sets you up for a bigger, longer term career move. And then your housing situation will sort itself out in a good way.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have any questions specifically for me that I can answer for you? Or any dates for me to look at and that can kind of help unpack from a cosmic perspective?
Not that I currently have. No, I think you pretty much answered kind of like the biggest point. Like there's nothing negative in it, right? Nothing negative that you see.
Oh. I mean, there's challenges in every chart, and right now we're in a collective sort of time of challenge, but I don't see anything that's particularly like outstandingly difficult that I would be like, hold your horses, be careful. I mean, nothing that I'm alarmed at or anything like that. You're in a sort of healing time where like spirituality and meditation, if you will, are supporting you and on your way, but you're on the verge of a lot of activity, but like, no, it's good stuff. It's a lot of growth and potential for travel and enriching your mind in a really positive way.
Okay. I think that's enough for me right now. I think a bunch of people would want to get theirs done, but I didn't get called out.
I think that's a really good one for you. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm just glad that, it looks like everything's gonna.
Well, thank you. He needed to hear that.
Yeah, he did. I think he did. I think you told him exactly what he needed to hear, or I really do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me see who's next. Pull up. I think her name was Valeria.
Val. She's one of our mods, and she's in the chat right now. So Val, here you go. She's Moosh.
Okay,
She's Moosh in the chat,
Yep,
but
right.
Val is what we call her.
Okay. Let me pull up her chart. Okay. Now I'm looking at your chart, Val. Screenshot that I'll email you guys later. Let me take a look real quick. I haven't looked at anything other than your birth data, so I have to take it in for a second. House transits. So I have a feeling that looking at your chart, you've been going through some sort of healing process when it comes to being seen professionally, and how you show up in the world and let people see you and what you do. And it might have been somewhat like painful at first to kind of get over this hump of some sort, or you might still be in it and sort of wrestling with it. But it's an opportunity to sort of step into the spotlight and get over any professional themes or like things are like blockages is a word that's coming to me, like things that were in the way, like maybe tripping over yourself and being in your own way sometimes, and then showing, like having this opportunity to kind of heal that and get out of your own way. And it might be a little bit scary to sort of go out of your comfort zone, but then to like really let people see you shine. And I don't know, I guess you're not here, so I can't talk to you.
I mean, Val, if you want to call into the show, you know the number. If you want to talk and interact, go ahead. I'll get you on here. But she can keep going until you do, or if you don't want to, you can just,
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
I'll just keep seeing what jumps out at me. And I say all of those things because Chiron is an asteroid that I look at in astrology, and it's just passed over her midheaven, which has to do with career. So it's going from the 9th house of philosophy, higher education, and travel into career and public standing, the way people see you in the world. And Chiron is the asteroid that is representative of the wounded healer. So there's always some part of us that we have to deal with that is like a little bit sensitive to something, and we're just sort of tasked to deal with it. Everybody has Chiron in their chart somewhere, but this is transiting Chiron, going over her natal midheaven.
Okay, Val, you with us?
What's that? Yeah, I am.
Okay, here's
Hey,
Val. She's with us.
Hi. Did you hear what I was saying? Or
Hello. I am
No?
listening for sure. Yes, I
Did
can
you
relate.
hear- Okay. So have things like what's going on career-wise, professionally that you feel comfortable sharing? Anything
Well,
along the lines
nothing
of what I was...
career-wise or... No, I'm retired. I'm not working.
Okay. So it might not necessarily be like directly tied to like an income necessarily, but like society, the way people see you in the world, like the way that you're perceived publicly. That would be the other way I would look at the midheaven. It's like the way people observe you from afar. and it's just
I don't
happening.
know.
So it could be that it's still unfolding, and it's transiting Chiron. So when transiting planets hit sensitive points in our charts, either they trigger some sort of karmic lesson. That's the way I think of it. Or there's not a lesson to be learned there. You're all good. And there's not these like big events, these big traumatic events that we have to cope with and deal with. But I would imagine that let's see. This would have been here before, but let's see what else is going on in your chart. So you're a Leo rising, 9 degrees, with Mercury and Pluto, and so you're gonna have a Pluto return or opposition coming up, but it's not for a long time. But it will be in the next like 10, 12 years. So nothing really immediate, that one. Let me see what else is going on. So Mercury and Mars are both in your 4th house of the house and home. Again, have you been doing renovations or thinking about it or
Always.
thinking about moving? Yeah.
We have. Yeah, periodically we go through that, but yeah, renovation it always works. It keeps us here.
It's also like, did you do something within like last week, like 4 or 5 days ago? Like something kind of big at home?
Yeah.
Or, yeah? What'd you do?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we repainted a room and changing it into an exercise room. And we recently had bought a fountain that we've been working with that changes colors. It's very cool. So we add things and change things.
That's cool. It's funny that you guys put an exercise machine in there because Mercury is like conjunct Mars right now. Mercury is all about activity and movement, and Mars is like kind of like, let's get into shape. Like, let's be active.
Yeah.
That's great. Let me see what else is going on in your chart. Okay. Let's see. I think things have been going pretty good for you recently. Like, have you had a really good couple of days, like the last day or two?
Pretty much. I have a lot of good days, though.
Well, I mean, like right now, the transiting sun is exactly sextile to your natal north node and south node. So like you're like in the flow state right now. So you're in this sort of golden window of opportunity to kind of follow your intuition and your hunches, and the universe is just sort of presenting you with opportunities to just do the stuff you want to do. Your north node is in the sign of Aquarius at 21 degrees in your 7th house. And the sun is about to hop over into your 4th house too, but it's in your 3rd house. So there's a lot of communication with your partner that's flowing and really in a good nature kind of way. And also opportunities for doing stuff that's like sort of out of the ordinary, off the beaten path a little bit. Just stuff that's a little on the unusual side that brings you closer together as a couple. And that could be the renovation, but it might be just good conversation too.
Sure.
You'll take it, right, Val? I mean, you'll take it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's kind of she's kind of the face of the church, and for all of our streams, she's the head moderator. She's always at every event, so it's not a career per se, but it's definitely a public image that I think people do look to her as
kind of like a job.
Kind of like a job. I mean, it is a job. It's a lot of work. I know that, and it's work that doesn't pay. Right. So it's a but it is a visible one because of the work that we do is just so public and visible, and she's at every event. So I wonder if it has something to do with that.
Maybe.
I never saw that.
There's also a lot of opportunity that comes out of the blue at the moment for you. Like, I would say career-wise, but if career is not necessarily a job, it could be the podcast, but like lots of unexpected, just sort of almost kismet opportunities to do stuff that just kind of are presenting themselves right now. So it's a good time to get out there and let people, you know, enjoy you for what you do.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, well, we soon couldn't get by without her. So I mean, she's instrumental too. Yeah. So.
Oh, thanks so much.
Yeah, no, we mean it.
Questions? Thank you so much, Val. Thank you. Okay, so
Thank you, Bishop.
The next name on my list is Mateo.
Mateo. Okay, so yeah. Mateo, get ready. Let's take our break here. And we'll recalibrate and come back to Mateo's chart in just a moment. So don't go away.
Water break.
The horizon pulls me closer, a whisper in the wind. The map is blank before me. Where do I begin? No fear of what's uncertain. The unknown feels like home. With every step I'm finding a place I've never known. Let's go where no one has ever been. A world unseen beneath our skin. Through endless skies, we'll break the chain. Uncharted lands will claim them all. Rise like tides and let it fall. Just endless sea. Come drift with me. Come drift with me. Uncharted lands will claim them all. Rise like tides and let it fall. Just endless seas. Come drift with me. Come drift with me. Oh, come drift with me. Oh, and come drift with me. Oh, and come drift with me. Faces fade to black as they move from the light. Am I even real? Even real? Everywhere I look, I'm starting to feel time is eating me alive, me alive. Drowning in my life. Who am I? crowd that couldn't care less. Everything was moving so fast. Everywhere I look, I'm starting to feel time is eating me alive, me alive. Drowning in my life, who am I? Time is eating me. Time is eating me alive, me alive. Drowning in my life, who am I? Time is eating me
Welcome back, everyone, to the third and final hour of Vestiges After Dark. We've been having a fantastic and engaging conversation with Aurorah Yarberry on charts and astrology, and we've been looking into our audience and seeing what she sees and what's the cosmic message. And I love how she relates everything to the moment, you know, how it how what's going on in the cosmos applies to you as the individual. It's a nice macrocosmic, microcosmic interchange, and it really works out very well. We're going to be looking at more charts here. So the way we're doing this in this next hour is what we've been doing all along now. I like it. It's working. Aurorah will choose a chart that she's got in her list. She's doing them in order that she sees in her email. And if she calls your name, call into the show, okay? 207-544-1983. Don't call in unless she calls your name. That way we don't get confused. That's 207-544-1983, and that way she can have an exchange. I think it works better when she can talk to you. Want to stay in the chat, that's fine, but I'm not sure she can see the chat, so it's better for you to call, okay? And we're going to get through as many as we can in this next hour, so don't go away. Okay, we left off with Mateo's chart. Mateo is on the line right now with Vestiges After Dark. You there, Mateo?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
It's been a while.
Hey,
Yeah, it's
Mateo.
been a while. Good to hear from you. And I'm looking forward to see what Aurorah has to say about your chart. This is going to be fun.
Me too.
Hi. So really interesting to see your chart. You have what I would call a superstellium in the sign of Virgo. So your sun is in the sign of Leo. So you probably are familiar with Leo stuff. But you've got a ton of Virgo energy in your chart. So I'm guessing that the last month or so has been pretty interesting. And not just the last month, but really the last, like really dramatic ups and downs, maybe some like stuff that just sort of came out of nowhere in a really explosive way. Might have been sort of surprising and shocking and just really quick moving stuff happening that might have been really intense. And maybe even potentially heavy, but a lot of movement and big deal stuff happening, especially potentially with your relationship, or if you have a partner, it could be a business partner.
Okay. Interesting.
Has
I would say,
anything
I mean,
like that shown
for
up
me, I mean,
that-
sorry. For me, I mean, I'm in my senior year of high school, and I just finished like all my college apps, and I wanted to go to U of H, University of Houston. I got into University of Houston, so that was a big thing last month. There's this like competition at my school. They called it Cuties. And it's like a male beauty pageant. You had to get voted into it. And I got voted in, and then I won.
Wow.
So that was kind of a really random thing that I did. And
Congratulations.
I did it. Thank you so much. We did like there's like a little like award assembly at my school for AP scores, and I got to do a speech for that. I was chosen to do the speech for that. And yeah, so I guess a lot of like big high school stuff for me. And yeah, I guess
Mateo's
relationship
just
wise,
confirming that all of our viewers are beautiful and really smart.
Only the best of the best, Father. Only the best of the best.
Really being recognized and
Exactly.
appreciated. It's stuff like it's just coming naturally, sort of really super easy. That kind of is a big deal. Like the getting into the school you want to, that's a life-changing, long-term, big deal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So let me keep looking at what has been going on. So I don't know. I think you could be like sort of fated to like wherever you're going, you're sort of the pieces are falling into place for you to get to where you need to be going. And again, it's a year of endings. So you're a senior year of high school. You're going to be going off to college next year. Next year will be really different. Like energetically, location wise, like whatever unfolds for you. So you're sort of setting the stage for yourself for the next 12 months to 4 years, possibly really for the rest of your life, because we've got the South Node in the sign of Virgo right now, in the sign of Virgo, and it's at 17 degrees of Virgo. So it's hit your Saturn, which is at 9 degrees. It's hit your Mercury, it's hit your Venus, and it's like gonna be transiting over your Mars like in a little while. Well, actually, no, it's going the other way. So it's already hit but it's hit your Mars, it's hit your Venus and your Mercury, and it's gonna be hitting your Saturn soon. So it's stuff that's like it's big deal, sort of fated cosmic stuff that's happening, but it's a lot of ease in some certain ways. Now, next year might be a little bit more difficult. Just change in scenery. The North Node will be going to the very front of your chart in the first house. So you're in Aquarius rising at 14 degrees. Aquarius risings tend to be pretty enterprising, insightful, intelligent people that are, like can be hard to ignore. Like you just tend to get attention, especially with a Leo sun. So that Leo sun, being in opposition to the Aquarius rising is definitely going to be playing out in a big way for you because Pluto's in Aquarius now. So Pluto is coming for your ascendant in a good way. It's going to be amazing, but it's not happening for a long time. Let me see what else is going on. Yeah, stuff's going on while at school. Let's see. So do you have some sort of like part-time job?
I do. I work at a frozen yogurt place.
Okay. I'm gonna just suggest that you might be given more opportunities to get more hours or take on like as much responsibility as you want. Jupiter is going through your 6th house, which is work. Not so much career, but like your job, like a job that just pays the bills, the short-term kind of job. So there could just be opportunities. And it's been going through now for a little while. But as it continues to make its way towards Leo and hit your sun in Leo and your south node, stuff's gonna really get exciting for you next year and the year after that. So you're kind of at like the threshold of a lot of really exciting stuff unfolding, but you've had some really good things happen in the like recent near term, but you've got some really cool, big, exciting, like once in a lifetime kind of things, or once in a decade kind of stuff coming up that is like a year or two in the making.
His mom just said that he just got a promotion. He said that she said that in the chat. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made me sign an NDA and everything.
What's that?
They made me sign an NDA and everything because like I have like more financial, I guess, authority.
Oh yeah. They're gonna want to like, squeeze you for all of your labor so that they can get away with, but make sure that you're not giving away like too much of your energy. Like you're going to be going to school, prioritize your education. Like just do what you realistically can deal with doing, and don't let them
take advantage of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
So do you have any questions about astrology?
I guess I just kind of want to know. I mean, I guess you already said that like everything's kind of falling into place. I guess is that with everything? Is that just more career oriented? Is that financially?
Well, I think financially things are probably, you're in a good place. Like next year, I think things will really click. It's funny, your 2nd house, which is where I look to for earned income and money, is at the 29th degree of Pisces, is the degree on the cusp of your 2nd house. And so we have Neptune right there and we have Saturn right there. And I like it when Saturn is close to Neptune in the 2nd house because it can give your dreams and your ideas some structure. But right now, Neptune is in the 1st house by itself and Neptune is in your 2nd house by itself and Saturn is in the 1st house by itself, very close together. But I think next year when they conjunct in Aries at that 0 degree mark in the very beginning of your 2nd house, that's when you're going to get some solid direction where like you're probably going to be set up well for the foreseeable near-term, long-term future. So take advantage of opportunities that come your way, but make sure to double check everything, triple check everything. Have any contracts that come up seen by attorneys. Like, don't be taken advantage of. Do your due diligence. Because Neptune can be illusionary, right? Like it rules illusion and what is real and what is not real. So like, don't fall for a get rich quick scheme or a like Bitcoin mining company that nobody owns or something like that. Like just like, use your head. But I think there could be some sort of massive like thing that happens where you're like, yeah, this is the thing I'm going to do. This is the way I'm going to make money, and let's get to it.
Yeah, that's good.
So.
My mom's making me ask. What? Sorry, you can hear her laugh.
Yeah.
She was making me ask about my relationship status.
She wants grandkids.
Yeah.
You're like, tell mom to chill. Like you don't want to be a high school. Like, wait till he gets like that income sorted out, and then worry about it. Give him a few years. I think so. Jupiter is going to be going into your 7th house next year when Jupiter moves into Leo, specifically Leo 14 degrees. So we're looking at about 12 months from now, more or less. I think that could see your relationship status change. Like there could be a potential partner coming into the picture at that point in time. So give him a year, Mom, at least.
Just 1 year, Mom.
And when you do, pull her chart.
Yeah. You're young. You know, we've got all the time in the world as long as the aliens don't like zap us.
That's
Yeah, that
right.
might screw it up for everybody. Yeah.
You know, we got that 0 degrees of Aries coming. So.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but that 0 degrees of Aries will be in your 2nd house of earned income.
That'll be good for him. Yeah, that'll be good for him.
Be a very potent, juicy place to be making the money. And when you need to hire an astrologer full time to help you read the charts, I'm available.
There you go.
Put it out there.
I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, let's look at the next chart. Who was next in my list? I think it was April Nora.
Okay, April. April, if you could give a call into the show, 207-544-1983. We'll take you on.
Let me just have a look-see real quick.
Sure. It's so fascinating, you know, watching, you know, because I know a lot of these callers. I know some of their stories,
students,
and
some of them are students of yours.
Yeah. And so it's kind of interesting to hear, you know, because I know you don't know them, you know, and so it's just fascinating to see what astrology has to say.
It's a fun party trick, you know, until people start crying in the corner.
Right.
That's right.
You're too accurate.
April's now on with Vestiges After Dark. You there, April?
It is April.
Okay.
Hey, April.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Well, hi. I'm just starting to look at your chart right now, so give me a second.
Sure.
All I've done is just put your data in, so I haven't looked at anything or done any research before looking at it right now. So let's see what's going on. So Mars has been going through your 5th house for the last month or so. 5th house has to do with children, loved ones, pets, creativity, true love, passion, romance. So there could have been a flurry of activity with any and all of those things. Like you could have been getting creative with your grandkids or kids, something like that. Or, you know, maybe things have been extra spicy in the bedroom. But if they're not yet, then they will be real soon, I think, because Mars is about to hit a point called the vertex. And the vertex is this sort of just like interesting part of a chart that tells us when stuff happens, and it's sort of like a random door opening in a wall that looked like a wall until the door opened, and stuff just happens. Now Mars has passed over the vertex before, but it wouldn't have been like the last time it would have happened would be about 2 years ago. So if you think back to 2 years ago, what might have been going on back like in those themes that I mentioned? So it's kids or grandkids, loved ones, pets, creativity, or romance. Was there anything interesting happening 2 years ago that was like memorable?
Trying to think back to 2 years ago. I had some family members that were kind of sick. As far as like children, grandkids. I don't really have that.
Okay. Do you have pets or like hobbies?
I do have pets.
Okay.
And as far as hobbies, in my spare time, I like to do paranormal investigations.
Okay, interesting. So your moon is in the sign of Scorpio, also in the 12th house, and the vertex, like where it is right now, and Mercury is like they're conjunct right now at 12 degrees Scorpio on your moon in the 5th house. So I think that right now, like today, tomorrow, could be a really interesting and fulfilling time to spend some time with your hobbies, and sort of see what you feel called or inspired to make. Let me keep looking at your chart, though. Let's see what else is going on. But anytime Mars hits the moon, like that can be a sensitive time too. So like 3 days ago, like could have been a sort of unexpectedly emotional day, like things going on that just kind of had you in your feelings, like about 3 days ago.
That probably tracks.
Yeah. Okay. We don't have to talk about it, but yeah. All right. And I mean, for a Scorpio moon, by the way, listeners, Scorpio moons aren't particularly into talking about their feelings. As a rule of thumb.
Have you met April?
I would say that's it.
So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. I was just looking at stuff and saying stuff as it came to me. And then I was like, oh, of course.
And she's not a sun sign. So, she gets a pass,
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, that's the interesting things. Like Scorpio moons are the least likely to actually that was really great for you because you were like, yep, but like a Taurus moon would be like, which would be in opposition to Scorpio, would be like, oh my god, let me tell you.
Yeah.
The Scorpio on the other side is like, yes, I agree, concur, let's move on.
Yeah, keep it moving.
So true.
Those feelings are mine and no one will see them. Okay, let me keep looking at what is going on. So Jupiter, your natal Jupiter, and it hasn't happened yet. This is something that's on the horizon that I want you to just be on your toes about. It's not a bad thing, but it's likely to be a pretty big thing. I think so. Jupiter, your natal Jupiter, is at 3 degrees of Aquarius in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house is death, sex, taxes. It's a lot of stuff that Scorpio kind of rules over, but Jupiter in an air sign is in the 8th house is forward thinking. It's technologically driven. It's thinking about the future, and Pluto is about to hit your Jupiter. So either, I think what could be about to happen is you are either thinking about doing some estate planning, or you're about to benefit from other people having done some sort of estate planning potentially. Like inheritance, that kind of thing. Jupiter's benefic, it's a good thing, but Pluto hitting Jupiter, that's a once in a lifetime thing. And it's going to be a good thing, but it's going to be, wow, this is something I'm having to process and deal with, because both of those are really huge planets. And so it could be stuff that you sort of see or sense coming on the horizon in one way or another already. Does that resonate with you? Or
I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that one.
It's a little ways off. So right now, Pluto is at 1 degree of Aquarius. Your Jupiter is at 3 degrees and 23 minutes of Aquarius. So you might not actually be feeling the brunt of this, like seeing it unfold in person in real life for another 24 months or so. But that doesn't mean that someone in your family, extended family, friend group or something, or even yourself, is starting to think about its death, sex, and taxes, really.
Which is a funny combination when you think about it.
Well, if you think about
They're all stressful.
They're all stressful, right?
Think of it. So if we look at the seventh house as the house of partnerships and romantic, like business or romantic partnerships, right? Like your marriage, anything with a legal contract that is saying like, we are going to work together either to live our lives or have a business. If you look at the seventh house under that, like sort of set of rules, the eighth house is the fruits of that labor. So it's the sex from a relationship, or it's the taxes you have to pay as a couple, or the inheritance that you get from, like, could be from your spouse, or it's the things that you get from working together.
So it's like binding things kind of are applied there. I see.
Yeah. And so it's also oftentimes thought as the house of other people's resources. And so Pluto being in that house, he's been in the house for a little while. So he's in the room, but he's not having that really big conversation yet. So there could have been something, and I would say this goes back a while. He's been in the room since 2016-ish or so. There have been themes where like this is setting you up for this bigger conversation between these two planets. So if there's something that's been like an underlying maybe family situation that like maybe the writing's on the wall, you have a relative that's like, you know, maybe winding their time down here in this version of things or something, that could potentially be one of the ways that shows up. But you won't know for another 24 months or so, but you will know what it is. It will be obvious.
Okay.
And then well, not yet. You're gonna get, so I think are you working? Do you have a job, like a career job? Not like a regular, just pay the bills job, something you're passionate about?
I have a career. I'm a self-employed counselor.
Oh, great. Yeah. The North Node of Destiny at 17 degrees of Pisces is making its way towards your midheaven. So I think that there could be, and it's not there yet, but it's, again, you're like, again, on the verge of all this cool stuff that's going to happen. In about 6 months or so, that North Node is going to be on your midheaven. So there could be some really just sort of like perfect fit puzzle pieces that land or develop in the next 6 months or so that really put the spotlight on your career in some way. So that's something really positive to look forward to, and be prepared to say yes to opportunities when they present themselves, especially in about 6 months.
That would be really nice.
Yeah. Pisces, so North Node in Pisces, or midheaven in Pisces rather, is really sort of spongy, feeling emotional energy. And as a counselor, you could possibly be prone to absorbing other people's energy and feelings too. So I think like one thing to help, and not to say that you're struggling, you're a counselor, you're helping other people, but like staying grounded and setting up good barriers to kind of help not take on other people's baggage might be particularly helpful over the next 6 months or so also.
Okay.
If that
I would say that probably tracks as well.
Because the thing about astrology is I can see that collectively we are all sort of watching the shit show that we're in at the moment, right? Like
So
we're
true.
all absorbing it on some level. So like being somebody who's in the nurturing arts, caring for people, whether it's being an MD or a counselor, a therapist, psychiatrist, or even as an astrologer, a lot of times people come to you when they're not in their best headspace. And Pisces is super intuitive, nurturing energy that is really open and porous. And if you're not careful, you can get sick physically or mentally from the influx of other people's stuff they're dumping on you. And that would be the one thing that I would say to take particular care of for yourself. And just, really be able to tune into your own sense of what you're comfortable with on a regular basis, and draw your boundaries in a way that supports you so you can help people and not get wrecked.
Okay.
So let's see. Just looking at the chart.
Are there any areas, April, that you wanted her to check on specifically for you?
Or dates that might be on the calendar.
I'm still kind of processing what she said so far. Some stuff kind of resonates as far as lots of different things going on currently, like in my life, is causing a lot of stress right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if some of the stuff that she's mentioned is kind of what it's showing up.
Yeah. Of course, it's hard to have details, and we don't have to go into details. It's your personal private life, and you do have a Scorpio moon. So I won't hold your feet to the fire to talk about stuff that you don't want to. But there's some, I won't say difficult, but there's some stuff that, like the Pluto headed towards your Jupiter, that's going to be big, I think. But again, that's not for 2 years or so. But then in 6 months, you're going to have some really good, strong career juju come through. And then lately, also stuff, you've got the South Node in the house of home, or North Node, and South Node in the house of home, sorry. North Node's in Pisces in the 10th house. South Node stuff is like your sense of home and your house, or it could again also be your relationship with your mother in some sense, be having some kind of transition or transformation that is almost like clockwork, like a sense of having to let go of control in some way.
Okay.
Which can be challenging, but every challenge that astrology,
I do have some family members that are kind of they're older, and so they're not in the best health. So when you were talking about inheritance, I don't anticipate anything like that, but I do have several that are kind of getting up there in age, so I can foresee something happen with that in the next couple of years. Mom being one of those.
Yeah. Which is, it's hard to talk to people about that kind of stuff without getting emotional, because it forces us to confront our own mortality. And then everybody's different in terms of how comfortable they are with facing facts and preparing for the future, like regardless of do you have kids? Do you not have kids? And how to do what they want to do with their belongings. But it could be the writing is sort of, there's stuff that will happen. So it could be a fortuitous time between now and then to take the opportunity to find a way to broach the conversation and have those discussions so that there's some kind of plan in place and who's in charge, and it's not a traumatic blindsiding event that is dumped on you or whoever when that time comes. It's just try to find a way to do it from a place of love would be the thing that and you're probably really good at that, but
well, and the thing of it is, I can try to talk, especially with my mom, for example, as much as I want to, but you're talking about me holding my feelings close to the chest. I would say she's worse. So that's going to be an interesting conversation, because she's going to kind of deflect because I tried to have those conversations with her in the past.
Yeah. Well, I think there are ways to approach it diplomatically, like maybe not make it about her so much as it is like friends of hers, people in her generation. Make it general, like try to like broaden, like don't laser focus in and maybe see if she kind of, I hate this term, but it's what's coming to mind, takes the bait, so to speak, and kind of have some facts and some resources in your back pocket when you feel comfortable having that conversation, because it will benefit you and your family to know what to do when the worst day comes. You'll have, to be sort of forewarned and forearmed with the documents you need, like who's the power of attorney, who's the like things that people ask for when emergencies happen, especially with elderly loved ones, that we don't like to think about this stuff, but if we really love our family, we take care of them and try the best we can, right? And part of that is like planning for our own departure.
Right.
We don't know what's going to happen, but nobody gets out alive. Like,
no, not one of us.
Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't met anybody who survives this life. Not yet, anyway. But so, I mean, try to. I know they're not. I've had my dad passed away, and like it was only because I had other people in the family support me, saying like, "Please go get your will written," because he had medical issues.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a team effort, but it was a godsend when that worst day came.
Yeah.
So my best of luck to you. That's rough, but there's good stuff coming too. Jupiter is benefic and joyful, but Pluto brings the hammer down and really makes it's like a before and an after. So it will be a sort of life-death transition in a big way. And so just be prepared, and it's not morbid to want to be prepared. Really, you're just doing yourself a service and a favor, and have like putting your mind at ease, because you can't control the inevitable, but you can control what happens afterwards to an extent.
Right.
Okay.
So best of luck. Let me
Thank
see
you.
who else. Thank you. I hope I didn't just like end on a sad note and move on too fast there.
That's something we all need to prepare for.
No, I mean, I
think about preparing for, even for ourselves. So it's important information.
I mean, I think it is. And sometimes, that's what you need to hear. Astrology gives us, I think, the tools to be able to navigate that better. So I don't think I don't think that was negative. It's insightful.
Astrology is a study of cycles, and life is the grandest cycle for each of us.
Yeah.
And so it's part of it, and if we can appreciate the hard times for making the good times that much better, it makes it just a little bit easier.
I think so.
So the next person on my list is Abel Guzman.
Okay, Abel, if you're out there, call into the show. Okay, 207 544 1983. 207 544 1983. Okay, Abel, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right.
How you guys doing?
Hey, man.
It's good to hear from you. Welcome to Vestiges, and I think Aurora is ready to go.
Thank you. Good to hear you guys too.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your chart with me. Just pulling it up, just taking a look. So let's see what's going on. Okay, so you're a Capricorn rising at 4 degrees Capricorn. And you've got just taking a look real quick. So Jupiter is in your 7th house. Jupiter in in the sign of Cancer at 23 degrees has been moving through your seventh house since earlier this summer. So have you like started dating anybody? Have you had like a new relationship start up and like since summertime?
I would say no.
No, it hasn't happened yet. That's
No.
okay. You're still like on are you looking for a relationship or are you already in a relationship?
I am in a relationship.
You are in a relationship. So you've been in a relationship.
Yes, I've been in a relationship with the mother of my
like
children.
This whole time. Oh, okay, great. So I would say based on Jupiter moving through this seventh house and you already being in a relationship, that then the relationship probably is getting better and deeper and going to the next level and really improving, like or expanding in some way. Is that something you've noticed, or has there been, so like, as Jupiter moves through the seventh house, it just tends to make our partnerships bigger. And usually partnerships in the seventh house are romantic of some sort, but it could also be business too. So is there an instance where your relationships or partnerships are expanding?
I would say in regards to my relationship with the mother of my children, I would say it's been getting better. I would say it's accurate to what you're saying, as it's increasing to the more positive side, slowly but steady.
That's good.
So, that is good.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, little by little. I mean, probably not as fast as I want it to be, but I'm a bit of an impatient person.
So I'm guessing you're married to this person. Are you married, or like this is your wife?
I am not married. I'm a dirty, rotten sinner living in sin right now.
Well, this could be a good time to think about changing that if that's
I'm working on it.
Okay. All right. I think, like, if not within the next 12 months or so to making that happen, then shortly thereafter would be just a good time to kind of, pop the question, make that happen. Or talk about it, plan it, like make some sort of action in some way towards that. I think the timing could be really nice for that, for you guys. Let me keep looking at your chart and see what's going on. Are you about to, or have you been looking for a job, or did you just graduate from some program? Are you looking to like level up your employment situation?
I definitely am looking to, so yes, to answer your question, yes. I recently obtained, like 3 months ago, obtained my state certification to become the state certified electrician. So I am looking to increase my finances as much as I could. And I have joined the local electrical union. So yeah, my finances have been increasing. And
great. That's great news,
I guess
Abel.
we'll have the bill. Yeah,
that's
thank
good.
you.
Good. Yeah, I think soon, like within the next week or so, and then like again in about a month or so, you could be due for like maybe a raise or something. Like there could be an hourly. You could maybe increase your rates a little bit, that kind of thing. Nothing like super major, like a like big giant promotion, but something like incremental that gives you a lift for a longer period of time is probably coming your way too, between the next week to month and a half or so. So don't buy any big expensive things until you get the paycheck, but like, don't count your chickens before they hatch, I guess is what I'm saying financially. But then, might be time to get strategic about your income. Ask your lady to be your lady officially, maybe. Think about that kind of thing. good stuff.
Okay, I appreciate that, and that does sound about right. I'm currently like working a 40-hour project right now, 40-hour a week project, and after this project, I plan on. There's a lot of projects that are like they offer a lot of OT, so I do plan on taking some. And this project does end in like a month and a half, so that's pretty spot on.
Yeah, put that stuff like and make some investments, be smart with it, make some long-term plans for that money to grow over time. And yeah, but there's definitely opportunities on the horizon there. Do you have any questions about astrology in general?
I do not. I would say I don't understand like all the terms that you use, but I would think I guess the question I would have is any books that you could point me towards. And I'm aware that Bishop Brian does have a lot of classes that I could be watching, some recorded versions, and maybe I should study on that. I just don't know where I should put my time in. I'm like so busy right now, but yeah, I guess just what kind of books or videos I could watch to understand the terminology more.
Yeah, there's some good stuff out there. So whenever anybody asks me the name of anything, my mind just goes blank. It's some weird thing I have. I guess this is a good time for me to advertise myself.
Yes, please, because I don't want you to end this show without being able to, share your website and how people can reach out to you, all that kind of thing. So let's get that in there.
Yeah, so I do a daily email newsletter. It's a subscription. It's like, I think it's $7.99 a month. So it's less than Netflix, but you get an email Monday through Friday. Friday is the weekend edition, so it's longer. But it talks about what is happening that day in like a couple of paragraphs and breaks it down and gives you the times for stuff and tries to make it relatable. So if you read it a little bit every day, you start to pick up stuff and put things together for yourself, and gives you an opportunity to be reflective. And I do write it. It's not AI. And so I thought that's a really good way that's affordable to help build a practice to understand, and you use it for whatever you want to use it for. But that I don't really have a ton of subscribers, so I'll appreciate anybody who comes my way. But yeah, that's at bloodmoonmilk.com. You can find that. And then you just click on the daily dose if you'd like to subscribe, and that'll take you to where you can do that.
Cool.
There you go, Abel.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Abel.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you.
Cheers, Abel.
All right. We can probably get one more in, huh? You have one?
Yeah, maybe. I think that I've got one. Let me put one more chart in there real quick.
Okay.
Give me 1 second to pull it up.
About 6 minutes. So we should be six or 7 minutes.
This is going to be Danielle. So if you didn't get your chart in to get read today, you guys can send me an email and get in touch. And maybe if you want a session with me, book a session. Let's see. I got to be quiet so I can do this real quick.
Okay, Danielle, I don't know. I mean, I know she's in the UK. If you can call in, by all means do so, or we can try to relay any questions you have from the chat, whatever's easiest. So call in if you can.
Chat might be best.
Yes, and I guess too, if we use the chat for Danielle, there's also like what, a 6 or 7 second delay?
About 7 seconds, yeah. No big deal though. We can get as much out there as possible. It won't let her call. Okay, so she's not able to call in, but we can any questions she has. She is in the chat. She's actively listening.
Okay, great. So I've got her chart in there now. So I know in the UK they write dates differently. And I just need to know that if
I'm from the UK, so what did she write? So we put date.
Oh, wait,
usually
never
the day
mind.
first.
Never mind. I
Day,
misread
month,
some.
year.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
Sorry.
Could you give the,
Yeah, we'll say the
could you
15th of
give
October
the
instead of
month?
I got it.
Danielle, oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah, I just I only saw one of the numbers and was like, oh, never mind. I know which one it is. Okay, let's look at Danielle. So
March 22nd. There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. But it's not. Okay, so Pisces rising. Okay, let's see. Well, North Node's in your first house. Oh, you're an Aries at 1 degree. Next year's going to be a big year for you, Danielle. And you've probably already started to feel some of this stuff. Because your sun is at 1 degree of Aries. Saturn has been at 1 degree of Aries. Neptune has been at 1 degree of Aries. So there could have been really big changes going on in your life that are just kind of revolution, like remaking who you see yourself as, who you are in the world. It could even be physical, like affecting your appearance, whether that is adopting a new wardrobe or like hairstyle, or maybe you've adopted a new workout routine, or there have just been some sort of physical change. Oftentimes when Saturn is on our sun, we can also feel like our energy is sort of zapped and we can feel tired and lethargic, and it can be hard to like get going because it just feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. But it doesn't last forever, and it usually leaves you a little bit leaner and with some extra responsibility that you're getting rewarded for too. So it's not necessarily fun. It doesn't happen that often, but it's definitely you're in for a bit of a big transformation, and you probably are already in it to some degree. But you'll really start to like see it wrap up and progress next year.
She says it makes sense. She's been bedbound for a while, and she's fed up with it. She says she has a stairs lift so she can access the house.
Yeah. Saturn on your sun, which is what's happening right now, it's not fun. Did this just start happening? Did this condition with the mobility issues just sort of occur in the last 6-ish months or so? Or is it pre-existing to
I
that?
think it's been more pre-existing from what I know.
Yeah, it's been for a while.
Okay. Well, this could also be an opportunity for some advancements to come your way. So Neptune is here too. Neptune also rules drugs. And so this could be a good thing in that there could be medicinal advances, medical advancements that could help. So be open-minded to new stuff that's coming out, because I mean, I don't know what your condition is. I'm just looking at your astrology chart, and I'm not a doctor, but there's all kinds of amazing stuff coming out with stem cell research and peptides that aren't necessarily in mainstream traditional GP medicine, and certainly not going to, I mean, maybe is being offered at the NHS. I don't know, but they're more open-minded than Americans are. That's good. That's good. I know that like stem cell stuff is more widely accepted over there, I think, which is a good thing.
Yeah, there's less barriers to it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But Aurora, I just want to say you are a wonderful, beautiful person. You're so sincere, and I'm so happy that you were able to come here and maybe give some insight to our audience, and to just spend the last 2 hours with us. It's been wonderful, and I hope now that you're done with your degree, I hope you can come back more.
My pleasure. Anytime. Just shoot me an email. Let me know.
Oh,
It's been great.
we
Thank
just
you.
we just love having you on. You really are. It's such a breath of fresh air to listen to you talk. You have such a down to earth approach to this stuff. Sometimes when you have people on the show that talk about these things, they're very ethereal, and it's not the worst thing in the world, but I mean, you just give so much just structure to it that it makes make sense to even the most left brain person. I think that's just wonderful. So thank you again.
Absolutely.
The opportunity. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate that. And
you.
Father Chris, thank
Take
you.
care.
Brandon, thank you. And Jamie, thank you. Thanks to
everybody.
all of you for participating in tonight's show and sending your information in. If we didn't get to it, Aurora, she says send her an email and you can set up a session perhaps. But it won't be the last time she's on the show. So, we'll have future opportunities, I'm sure. Next week, we're going to return to sort of a part 2 to that annihilationism episode. We're going to start talking about the other side of the issue. And Father Chris will be able to give us even more insight into that. We kind of left off that episode incomplete, and so we'll have more time to talk about it and digest some of its implications and why the church doesn't traditionally teach this as its theology. So a lot to think about, a lot to get into, and of course, more time for your questions as well. But that's next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, I will see you out in the ether. God bless everyone.